Hello. Welcome back to Mrs. D's Baking TV. I know you're saying, Mrs. D, that doesn't look like a kitchen. Well, because it's not a kitchen, it's our living room. We're coming to you today from our living room to talk to you about home ownership. Why are we talking to you about home ownership? Because we recently purchased our third home. We recently purchased our third home, and we built this home, and we ran into some challenges. And in going through this whole process, I was telling my husband, we need to make a video about this so that we can maybe help other couples who may be considering purchasing a new home, and just some of the things that we went through. So just to give you a little background, I have no experience building a home or working in housing. Unlike my husband, he does. I'm Dion, and this is Byron. I don't know if I said that, just in case this is your first time watching one of our videos. I'm also known as Mrs. D from Mrs. D's Baking TV. So I'll let my husband tell you a little bit about his background in housing.
Yeah, I think I've had over 25 years of experience in housing as a developer, and on the financial side, I worked as a nonprofit. So I've done a number of things in housing.
Right. He ran a community development corporation where he built affordable housing here in the state of Louisiana. He did one of my favorite projects that he created was this a mixed community where there were renters and homeowners, and you didn't know who was who. Everybody just lived just in unity in this little sweet community, and it was one of my favorite projects. But anyway, with all that experience, building a new home was a challenge for us, a big challenge. So just to give you a little background, we lived in our original home where we raised our children for well over 20
years.
Well over 20 years, where we raised our 4 boys. We have 4 grown sons and grandbabies. But anyway, so after we went through a traumatic incident at that first home. Our home was under renovation, and we were about how many days? About
2 days from finishing.
About 2 days from finishing our dream kitchen, and the great flood of 2016 happened. My dream kitchen.
I was going to clarify. It was her dream kitchen. It had nothing to do with me. That was her dream kitchen.
Because he can't boil water. But anyway, we're about 2 days away from finishing our dream kitchen, and the great flood of 2016 happened. So that house completely flooded, and we had to gut it. We gutted the house, and after gutting the house, we turned it into what I thought was beautiful.
She did a good job. I got a bigger office out the deal, so hey, it was a win.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. But over time, I was like, I felt like we were paying 3 mortgages on that house, because we had our original loan, then we had to take out SBA loan in order to repair the house, and then whatever little money FEMA gave us. And so in my eyes, I was like, I feel like we're paying double for the house. So we decided to sell. So we sold that house, and then we moved into, if you watched my channel before, what was our current home on Mrs. D's Baking TV. We'll do a whole video about this new house. But anyway, so we moved into that house. But one thing I want to tell couples, or even singles, buying a house is not just for couples. When looking for a house, you need to make a list. I would say, wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, I think the first thing is for you to find a real estate professional and walk through the process with them. You have to at least get some form of pre-qualification so you'll know how much you can afford. Right. But if you're a first-time home purchaser, by all means, find an organization that you can connect with just to go through that first-time home buyer class or that process, just so that you can understand exactly what needs to be done, as well as a lot of places out there provide some type of financial incentives for those that are first-time home buyers, but you have to go through those educational classes.
That's excellent advice. I forgot about that. So, and another thing, make a list. When I say make a list, I meant make a list of your likes, things that you're looking for in a home. You don't want to just go out there willy-nilly, not knowing what you like, or you'll just you'll be going just all over the place,
Sure.
just seeing new things, old things, and not knowing what you really like. Now, I will say with our second home, we didn't make a list. I had in my mind, I wanted an older home, a full brick older home that was renovated, sort of like what we had, but one that was larger and up to date because we had in our mind that our four sons would come back
That didn't
and
happen.
and visit with us. We say that because they're all grown and they're living in different states. So we thought we would purchase a home big enough for our sons to come home and spend time with us and bring their families.
Mhm.
But that happened.
Twice.
Oh, I was about to say one time, two times. So don't buy a home thinking that your grown children are going to come back home and spend time with you and your husband. Okay? Your empty nester, be an empty nester.
Mhm.
So anyway, so we purchased that second home knowing that we want one of the biggest things we wanted was what?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, it had to have an office.
Yeah, because he works from home. So it definitely had to have an office. And that other home had a huge office. It had more space. He only used half of the space. The other half was supposed to be for somebody else.
It was set up for her, so it just took up an empty space in the office because she never came in there.
I didn't, but that's okay. That's okay. So we were in that home approximately what, 2 years?
3.
Almost 3
3
years.
years.
Almost 3 years. And we'll tell you more about why we moved, maybe in another video. But this video specifically, I wanted to do this video just to give you some information on some of the things, some of the problems that we went through building a new home, and just give you some information so maybe you don't have to go through those things. We, like I said, we had a really good, excellent real estate agent. We didn't, for this new home, the thing that we were really looking for was, I'm gonna see if you're gonna remember. What were we really looking for that we didn't have in our last neighborhood?
Community?
We were looking for community. We're looking for community because we're empty nesters, and we were desperately looking for community because we just envisioned if we moved to a new neighborhood that we wanted a community that had a lot of families, and it didn't matter the type of families, none of that mattered. We just wanted to build new friendships and engage in the community and make a difference. Now, my husband, I kind of forced him, I'll be honest. I kind of forced my husband because when we first moved in our second home, there was problems with the HOA. And because my husband had so much background in housing, I thought it would be important if we had a voice in the neighborhood. So I persuaded him.
She didn't persuade. She forced me. Let's get that straight because I think she even nominated me. So continue on with your version of the story.
I nominated my husband to be on the board because there were some things in the community that needed to be that they needed help with. Okay, so long story short, my husband got on the board. He was able to help the community that we were in. They had some problems with the fountain because we lived on a lake lot. So he was able to get that fixed. I think somebody ran into the wall because we lived on a country road.
Well, let's clarify this. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything specifically.
That's true.
So I want to make sure that people don't take that the wrong way. I was a member of their board.
Right.
And so we all collectively came together and we made a lot of things happen. Now, a lot of that was because there were some leadership changes. Some leaders were more active than others. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we really made an effort to make all the improvements necessary for that particular community.
And you guys did, and they did a good job. They really did.
Now, one thing, even within HOA, nothing's ever going to be perfect. You know, everybody won't always be happy with what you do. There will always be someone that has a challenge. You just have to be, no matter what you do in life, you know, housing, you know, work, you just have to make sure that you do your very best and not be satisfied, not try to be a quote unquote people pleaser, because you would never please everyone.
Right. Just follow the rules. And that's that's what he tried to do. He tried to, because he's worked on several boards, I thought that he would help them to follow, what is it? Robert's Rule of Order, I think the name of it is. I don't know.
I'm impressed. Didn't even think you knew that.
Yeah. So I just thought that he could bring some structure And we did that. We did that. And also because we are followers of Christ, I also wanted to maybe assist some moms because I've raised my 4 boys. So I wanted to be a positive influence in the community.
Yeah.
But that really didn't happen. We found that we were lonely. We were lonely.
And let's be real. I think that community had some really nice people.
Yes.
The ones we communicated with were extremely friendly. So I think that community had a lot of positives. So I don't
Mhm.
want people walking away, or even if someone from that community happened to see this and think that we are speaking ill will. I don't
Oh
think that's the
no,
case. I just
no.
think that for us, there was something different that we were looking for that we didn't get. So I just want to make sure to
Right. It was
clarify that.
beautiful community, beautiful community, some wonderful families there. We did find some challenges in how far we had to drive back to the city in order to
She
do.
found challenges of how far she had to drive. I work from home. She had to drive.
I found it hard because I had to drive and we were far from everything. That's the way it seemed like to me because we were not in the city. But we'll talk more about the reason why we moved and purchased a new home. We'll talk about that in another video. This particular video, I just want to educate you guys on if you decide to do a new build, some of the things that you may need to look out for in doing a new build and some of the challenges that we had. Now, let me show you something. This is a binder of all all the things that were incomplete after closing. I can't
Well,
tell you
I think
how
she has
many
gotten ahead of the
pages.
process.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go back. Go ahead, babe.
I think if we're talking new build, I think it's very important that you have a really good um, you have an open line of communication with your builder, whether it's going to be through your agent or you're going to speak with your builder yourself. You have to be able to establish an open line of communication where they understand you, you understand them, because the biggest thing that can happen is the lack of communication can cause stress on both parties.
Right.
So as long as you all are communicating, um, all along through the process, you all agree on any changes, any what ifs. As long as the communication lines are open, I think that's going to be a positive.
So, first things first, open line of communication. Also, one of the second things I would say, if you're doing a new build and you're moving into a neighborhood, make sure that you also not just communicate with the builder, but that you also communicate with the people in the front office, the people who maybe are helping you to design your home. A blessing for us, I didn't have to take the time to go and pick out light fixtures and the different amenities because they had packages already put together for me. Now, I will tell you, I made a big mistake in choosing the tile, the backsplash, or the kitchen.
It was horrible.
It was horrible. Guys, it was horrible. But the good thing about it was the installation was horrible. So we got to choose another backsplash or tile for our kitchen. So that was a good thing. But see this binder?
She's back on that binder.
See this binder? I want to introduce you to Byron's binder. What is Byron's binder, you say, Dion? My husband took the time, guys, after closing. So let me say this. Before you even think about, oh, it's time to close and all of this wonderful things, you must, even if, well, we were blessed because we had because you have to hire a, what do you call that person? So you see, I don't know.
See, she's
I
doing
just want to
all
get to the
this.
binder. I just want to get to the binder. Guys, I want to get to the binder. Okay.
All right, so let's
back up.
let's slow it down before she gets
Let's slow it down.
to this binder.
Hold up.
But before we get, again, as we were saying, before we get to the binder, you need to make sure that part of that communication is that you have to have an inspection done. And sometimes you have them done periodically throughout the process. But right before you're preparing to close, you want to go ahead and have an inspection done. You can coordinate that through your realtor, or you want to make sure it is someone that you hire, that you bring aboard, not someone that the builder has, because you want someone that's in your corner.
That's right.
And then if you have, we were blessed that we had some friends that actually work in the industry that were experts that actually came along with the inspector. So not only did the inspector find issues that we were able to address, but our dear friends did the same.
And let me say this: no home is going to be perfect
No.
and free of issues. So we're not
Yep.
saying that. Your daddy could build your house and you might find some issues. That's why you have the home inspected.
Yeah.
It's very important. So we're not saying that our builder was horrible or anything like that. No, we're just giving you steps that you may not be aware of when building your home.
Correct.
So after we did the inspection, that is when my husband.
Finally, she can talk about this binder.
That's when my husband came up with the binder. So this binder is filled with all of the issues that we found after the inspection and after we moved in. Now, if you are not savvy enough to build your own binder, hire my husband. No, I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. I couldn't do this. But this was so helpful, guys. So however you choose to keep up with what the issues are that you find in your home, do it. Whether it's a spreadsheet, whether it's just a list, whatever is the best way to communicate with your builder, communicate. Communication is
and I think just whatever, as my wife said, whatever tool works best for you. I mean, this particular binder we initially did by taking all of the issues that the inspector found, all the issues that our personal professional came out and found, and we just put it all on an Excel spreadsheet that we took pictures and embedded the pictures and passed it on to the builder, and that's what we worked from. Then we've also moved toward using something like a Google Sheets, where we are capturing the issues that we find. The Google Sheet is shared with the builder, and they have access to look at it. So it's real time as things are being fixed or as we find items. Then it's updated, and they can continue to manage their process. And again, a part of making sure we have open lines of communication. It gives us a means of which we can all be on the same page going through this process.
Right. What he said. So this has been, like I said, it's been a sort of a stressful but smooth because
it's a learning experience.
It's a learning experience. It's a learning experience. We absolutely, positively. I thought he was going to say what I thought he was going to say. Let's try that again. Because we absolutely, positively
love
our home. We do. We love this community. We love our home. All this, the binder and all was so worth it. And that's what we want to say. It's worth it. Now, because we are believers, I want to speak to you guys who are believers. You really need to take some time and pray while going through this process because it could get a little frustrating. Mm-hmm. It could get frustrating. There were many times I just wanted to cry and I was questioning whether or not we should have done this. But it's our faith that has gotten us this far. Now, just because you're a believer in Jesus, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have trials and tribulations because you are. As a matter of fact, the word tells us that the tests and trials come to make us stronger. And I can really say that this venture that we have been on, I can say that it has made us stronger. I mean, what about you?
I think it just helped increase our faith.
I would agree.
because you kind of grow up in an environment where you believe that certain things are not obtainable, and then when you walk in it and you realize how what God has truly blessed you with, um, it allows you to not only exercise your faith but just put more trust in Him, and just know that, one, He's going to take you through the process, and two, you can have what you desire.
Right, exactly. And that's not to say that, the size of the home matters, because guess what? This home is smaller than the home we came from. It is. Because we
And of course,
decided,
that's not what I wanted, but that's another part of the process of understanding that sometimes you have to get out of your own way and let God bless you with what He has for you. And as you go through it, you realize, you know what? I understand that, God, and I'm grateful and thankful for it.
yeah, because we really didn't need a 3,000 square foot house for the two of us. It was not necessary. I don't think it was necessary.
Yeah, I
But
think it was, because that way you can stay on your wing, I can stay on my wing, and we'll be okay. All right, I'm just kidding, just kidding.
that is not of God.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, no, but to be honest with you, my husband thought and I didn't know this, I learned this about him through the process, communication.
Mm-hmm.
He had in his mind that when you get older, you're supposed to have, a large home and, all this square footage. And I think this home is teaching us all you need.
It's comfort.
I like the way you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Comfort. We are comfortable. This is not a large home, but we are comfortable. We can walk in the neighborhood. We can ride our bikes again, because we did that in our first home. In our first home we were in, we rode our bicycles a lot. We were part of two different groups that we would ride our bicycles
Mm-hmm.
with. Now we can ride our bicycles, we can walk, we can exercise, and just really, really look forward to being healthier as we grow older.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you have any questions, please list them below in the comment section, and we will definitely make sure that we answer all of your questions. One of the main things that my husband stressed was, if you're a first-time home buyer, go through a first-time home buyer's course so that you can possibly get
Various assistance that's available.
assistance. Mm-hmm. If you're not a first-time home buyer, you could get pre-approved.
Everybody wants to do that.
Well, yeah, everybody can do that. Get pre-approved. That way you know how much house you can afford.
Yep.
Because going into it thinking, I want a 5-bedroom, 6-bath home,
but it also helps when you start going out looking, and because you can share with your agent how much you can afford, and then as you share with them what do you want in the house, then they can look that up, and that will kind of narrow your scope, versus going out looking at homes that are out of your price range. Then you start getting frustrated with the process because you see something that you can't afford,
right,
and not knowing you can't afford it, and then you want to do it. You go to the bank, they tell you get X amount of dollars for a home, but you're over here looking at a different sphere. It definitely can grow very frustrating.
Right. So, home buyers course, pre-approval, communicate with your builder and your real estate agent. And another thing you can do before you sign the contract, visit that neighborhood several times, because you want to see
at different times.
Right. Very good. Visit the neighborhood several times at different times, so that you can see the culture of the neighborhood before moving in. That's important. That's important. And what else can you think we could tell them about purchasing a home?
I think as long as they follow, what we've kind of shared. I mean, of course, everything we are telling you is not, it's not science. It won't cover every scenario.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing you can do, you can take away from this is, one, make sure you get your education. And then two, make sure you get with a good real estate professional.
Yes.
Don't try to do this on your own.
No.
And then allow them to take you through this process.
I agree. So maybe in the next video, you'll see the new kitchen that Mrs. D is working with. real soon.
Yeah,
But
because we've not had any baked goods in quite some time, so I think it's time for you to get into the kitchen.
okay, we've had baked goods. You all just haven't had any tutorials because I baked 2 sweet potato pound cakes
They don't supposed to know
with the.
that. I was
Oh, I'm
trying to tell
telling
you, you need to go
you, no,
back into
it's
the kitchen.
okay. I baked 2 sweet potato pound cakes. I baked a regular pound cake all within the last 7 days. I did some cookies for some friends that came over. So I've been baking. I just haven't done any tutorials, but they're coming back real soon. Real soon. I don't know how soon, but real soon.
They're coming.
They're coming. So thank you for joining me today on it is Mrs. D's Baking TV, but thank you for joining us today on this video. Like I said, if you have any questions about home ownership, um, list them below and we will do our very best to answer your questions. We're in the state of Louisiana, but home ownership all over the U.S. is basically the same. So this information, could help anyone, no matter what state you're in. So yeah, so thanks for joining us today, and thank my wonderful husband for all his wonderful advice. You guys have a great day. Be blessed. Bye.